Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is MrNoSleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new loot video for you all today. So today we bring you loot from 100 Bryophyta, taking about 16,000 Moss Giants in order to get the 100 keys for this video. And just like in the Moss Giant video, this was also done by Wiggy, the good friend of the channel, so big shout out to him. If you ever want a RuneScape thumbnail, make sure to check out the description below. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this was one of those monsters that I really just never saw myself doing, at least not anytime soon. Bryophyta, you know, is a relatively newer boss in RuneScape. I mean, it was released in May of 2018, but as quick as time is going by these days, that seems like it was yesterday. This Moss Giant boss is an ancient and mystical Moss Giant who can be found in her lair. It is a her in the Varrock sewers. Bryophyta's lair is located just north of where the Moss Giants reside in these sewers, accessible by the agility shortcut from the Edgeville dungeon. You do of course need 51 agility. And speaking of agility, I bet my man was running laps around the house after he got this amazing essence drop so early on. 1 in 118, truly the luckiest drop to get here. Not to mention that was the very first kill of the video, so 99 more to kill, and we are already off to what I would say would be the best start so far. A great thing about this boss is that every single kill, not only do you get a pair of big bones, but you also get a beginner clue scroll. And this guy went out of his way, because at the very end of this video, not only do you guys get loot from 100 Bryophyta, but you also get a bonus of loot from 100 beginner clue scrolls. I think it's a really cool feature that Jagex added on to this boss, very similar to Scotizo, only it's always a beginner clue scroll instead of anything of a higher tier. So it's really cool that we'll see all the beginner clue scroll loot. I think it fits perfectly with this video because this Moss Giant has so much to go along with it. And in general, if you guys want to see loot from 1200 beginner clue caskets, make sure to check out the description below. A really good YouTuber goes by the name of Only Trails. He did that video, and I'm always about different loot videos and loot channels to expose to you guys, so make sure to check them out. Now, if you're curious as to what that essence drop does, essentially you can use it to make the Bryophyta staff. This staff requires 30 attack and 30 magic, and it's created by using a normal battle staff with the Bryophyta's essence, and this does require 62 crafting. Its stats are almost identical to the ancient staff, but without the -1 prayer bonus, and the attack is 1 tick slower. It is also a requirement to have this for a master clue, which is really important for Ironman accounts. I mean, imagine being stuck on one specific clue scroll step all because of this one item. It could really turn into a tragic few months depending on your luck. I know there's a lot of Moss Giant loot videos out there on YouTube, and I rest my case with that. I'll definitely be leaving all of those videos in the description as well for you guys. Now, the gear for this video was pretty basic. My friend just went with full elite void and a blowpipe, and you can also tell that he brought some sectors alongside of him, and that is because during the fight, Bryophyta, she may summon 3 growthlings, and these are fairly weak, but they all must be killed, as Bryophyta is immune to all damage except poison and venom while they're still alive. In order to finish them though, you do need an axe or sectors must be used. You don't have to wield them once they've been reduced to 1 HP through standard combat, and I'm sure you've seen examples of that on screen by now. Even with the fast forwarding, it's pretty simplistic, pretty easy to see. And Bryophyta, although at 128 combat with a max hit of 16, you know, the HP is only 115 here. So if you bring a blowpipe and you are higher level, then you can get this boss killed in no time. It is definitely a lower to medium level boss. She is capable of poisoning players though, starting at 8 damage, so it is recommended to bring some form of anti-poison. Unlike the Hill Giant boss, she does not take protection prayers into account. Something that was also not taken into account for this video, if you're curious when we get towards the end, was the Zora scales and the rune darts that were used. Apparently there was only about 100 to 200k of the value of all those supplies spent on these 100 Bryophyta kills, so you're not going to really be spending much supplies here at all. I mean, it is a boss fight and it doesn't take too long to do. Around 50 to 60 kills per hour with a setup similar to this, and with the amount of keys that you have, as well as your experience and your combat level, as well as if you're a free-to-play or member, that will determine your kills per hour. My favorite thing about this boss is that it is free-to-play and pay-to-play. The guide says that free-to-players are recommended to bring green D hide armor, as well as a rune kite shield and a rune full helm, the best in slot gear for free-to-play, you know. Very respectable to grind out free-to-play bosses as a full-time free-to-player. It's something I haven't been in probably close to 11 years, so I respect anyone who still does that grind. And I imagine this boss is probably more challenging on free-to-play worlds than it is on member worlds. The blowpipe sort of simplified everything for us members many years ago, as it finishes loot from 100 Bryophyta. Before we get into the price check, of course, we have 100 beginner clue scrolls to open. So let's go ahead and do that, see how much money is made from all of those caskets, and then we will go check out the loot. And speaking of the loot, I will say that the weapons and armor on the drop table of Bryophyta is pretty nice. You know, you have a full set of rune, you have the Addy pieces as well. 5 of the Addy plate bodies being noted at a single time makes that a 47k drop, so it's actually one of the most valuable drops you can get. There's also a quantity of 3 Addy kite shields, which is a 1 in 118 drop, so pretty strange there. As goes for the runes and ammunition, Bryophyta does have 100 of each cosmic, nature, law, chaos, death, and blood runes on top of 100 Addy arrows, so decent amount for free to play and pay to play. Now these beginner clue scrolls are certainly not looking too pretty, and that is why I never ever will do beginner clue scrolls myself. I just don't think they're worth it, but hey, when you do get a nice reward, it's always a good feeling. You can also get herbs if you are in members worlds from Bryophyta. Obviously that would be a members only feature. This goes along with the seeds as well. Material wise, you're looking at rune bars, and you can also get uncut rubies, diamonds, and even 25 steel bars noted. That is a huge drop for free to players, no doubt about it. You also can get 10k coins and 15 strength potions noted, so that's pretty nice. Also important to note that you can get another mossy key from Bryophyta, which is a 1 in 16 drop. So guess what? If you're killing it one time, you might actually be able to kill it again, depending on if you're lucky enough to get that. And in regards to luck, here you go, 100 beginner clues, and the outcome is 502k. Looks like I'm looking at maybe 3 uniques total, one of them being a secondary placeholder, so that's certainly better than nothing, but not by much, you know. But yeah, that will add to the price check, and now my friend is going to go through his massive bank here and find all of the loot from the Bryophyta. I do believe everything was tracked accordingly with the mossy keys as well as the RuneLite loot tracker, but we'll just do this the old-fashioned way, and we'll also be throwing in the beginner clue scroll loot on top of everything. But yeah, it looks to be just about from all of the first price check, 8.3 million rounded down. Decent amount of alchables and materials. I'm not gonna lie, I think I was expecting a little bit more, but nevertheless, I am not disappointed to see that. Now, of course, you can expect a giant champion scroll from Bryophyta because, you know, it is a giant after all, and that is a 1 in 5,000 drop rate. And for those of you who enjoy the fun facts during these loot videos, Bryophyta is actually the scientific name for moss. Shout out to any scientists out there. Beginner clue scrolls coming out to be, as it goes for the first price check, 417k, most of that just really being the shoulder parrots there. And we do have one other price check with these clues. All the other miscellaneous items certainly don't want to miss out on anything, gotta be 100% accurate, so another 75k coming from all these items. So it looks like 492k overall from the beginner clue scrolls and 8.3 mil from the 100 Bryophyta. And you guys will see a RuneLite screenshot shortly showcasing all the loot from just about 106 Bryophyta because there was an extra 6 killed after the 100 was completed. So it's really nice. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, without the essence drop, you know, the essence being almost 6.8 million, you know, maybe wouldn't have been the most impressive loot, but nevertheless, for a moss giant boss, I think it's just right, you know, not OP in any sense of the word. The drop table's not only useful, but it has a lot of variety for free to play and members. Although I think they should just take the seeds off. I mean, the seeds seem pretty minimal as well as the herbs. Just kind of my opinion there, though. Now, if you don't get the essence drop, you're obviously not going to make nearly as much, but that's what it's all about. RNG is a big part of what, you know, the money comes from as it goes for boss killing. This is nothing like Vorkath or Zulrah. You got to get lucky here to make the big bucks, and that's the way it should be. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. A big shout out to Wiggy for completing it. He's an incredible friend of mine, and I'm really glad, and he's really glad glad that you all are enjoying the videos. He's got loot from 100,000 master farmers coming up in just a couple days for you guys. So I look forward to voiceovering that, and I look forward to showing you guys that very soon. Thank you all so much for watching the video, and make sure to check out the description, some awesome video makers that you might be missing out on. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, MrNoSleep out.